Hello everyone, this is the third and final part of the Squirrel Hat Masterclass. You are in the InStyle Knitting Studio. We are knitting the blue part of the eye. I have a blue yarn that is a bit thinner. Therefore, I will be using 2 strands. With the same hook, right, 3.5, so we will crochet 8 single crochets into the ring. My chain stitches will count towards the total number of stitches as usual. This is a chain stitch. This will be my first single crochet. We need to crochet a total of 8. So, I need to crochet 7 more single crochets. We pull the ring tight, and as always, I use a slightly smaller hook. We connect. I pick up my first crocheted single crochet at the top and make a slip stitch. Moving on to the second round. We will tighten the ring a bit more later. So, the second round will consist of increases. In total, we should have 16 single crochets. This is our first single crochet. I will crochet the second single crochet into the chain stitch of the previous chain. This is my first increase. Then, into each single crochet from the previous round, we crochet 2 single crochets. We connect the first round, my crocheted single crochet, and the 9-2 into the top of the first crocheted. Next, 1 chain stitch to secure our ring. Leave a bit of yarn to sew our piece later. We tighten the ring. This is the piece we have created. The diameter of this piece is about 2 centimeters. Let's knit the second one. Let's knit the bow. The length of this bow is about 11.5 centimeters. The width is 5.5 centimeters. We are gathering 3.5 centimeters with the same hook, 15 chain stitches, and we knit an oval. Look, I have made 15 chain stitches. Next, I will knit 2 turning chains. I make a yarn over and crochet my first double crochet in the 4th stitch from the hook. The turning chains count in the total number of double crochets, so I have actually worked the second double crochet. We will crochet 1 double crochet in each chain stitch. I have now crocheted 14 double crochets, including the turning chains. In the last stitch I will crochet 5 double crochets. Friends, I will not show any further now. Here we simply crochet a regular oval. I have already shown how to crochet an oval, so please go and watch the lesson. We will crochet an oval made up of 3 rows, and then join our oval with brown yarn using single crochets. This is the oval I have made. Now I turn it to the wrong side, that is, the wrong side facing me, insert the hook into the stitch, and take the brown yarn. My yarn is almost 2 times thinner. I will take it double and crochet around our oval with single crochets. I crochet the first chain stitch with 2 threads. Then I leave the end of the yarn and continue with single crochets. In each stitch of the previous row, I work a single crochet and immediately hide the brown yarn. The end of the yarn. Why is the wrong side facing me? Because the edging folds over like this? I prefer crocheting from the wrong side. The oval itself folds in, and when I crochet the edging, it folds towards me, creating a nice finish on the front side. So we crochet the edging to the end of the row. We join and cut the brown yarn. The bow is almost ready. We need to hide all the yarn ends. With the brown yarn, we wrap the center of the bow a few times and sew it onto the hat. We crochet the orange part of the ear. We take the orange thread. I will knit with 1 strand and a hook number 3.5. We cast on 10 chain stitches, then 2 for the rise. Our rise stitches will count in the total number of posts. So, these 2 plus 1 stitch. 3 stitches, yes. This will be our first post with a yarn over. Next, in the fourth stitch from the hook, we will knit our second post with a yarn over. We continue to knit to the end of the row with posts with yarn overs. 9 posts are knitted, including the rise stitches. Next, in the 10th stitch, the last one, we knit 5 posts with yarn overs. Now we knit from the other side 8 regular posts with yarn overs. 8 posts are knitted. Now this is our first post from the chain stitches. The bottom stitch, we insert the hook here and knit 4 more posts with yarn overs. Why 4 when there were 5 here? Because our 5th post is the rise stitches at the start of the row, that's it. We connect the row. I insert the hook into the second post. That is, into the first we have knitted the top, not the rise chain stitches, but the top of the second post of this row. 2 chain stitches to transition to the next row. This gives us 5 posts with yarn overs knitted into the central stitches on both sides. Here are 8 posts, and here are 8 posts. The rise stitches are included in the total number of posts. Therefore, this is our first post with a yarn over. We knit 10 more. In total, there should be 11 posts with yarn overs. 11 are knitted. Then, in the central post, we knit 7 posts with yarn overs. On this side, we should have 12 regular posts with yarn overs. After that, in the central stitch, we knit 7 posts with yarn overs, and at the end of the row, 1 more regular post with yarn over. A connecting post. Into the second post of this row, 2 chain stitches to transition to the third row. This is our first post with a yarn over. Immediately under the air loops, we attach the second one. In total, we should have 12 double crochet stitches, including the lift stitches. It's done. Next, in the next stitch, we make 2 double crochet stitches. In the next one, 1 double crochet stitch, and we work into the central stitch here. Seven double crochet stitches. Next, in the next stitch, we crochet 1 double crochet stitch. In the next, 2 double crochet stitches. Then, we crochet 14 regular double crochet stitches. After that, 2 double crochet stitches in the next stitch. Then 1 double crochet stitch. After that, 7 double crochet stitches in the center. Then 1 double crochet stitch. After that, 2 double crochet stitches and 2 more regular double crochet stitches. After this, we connect the row by inserting the hook into the top of the second double crochet stitch of this row. 1 chain stitch for securing. We pull the yarn and cut it. Now, to make the tassel on the ear, I took brown yarn in 2 strands, making 12 turns of 10 centimeters each. We cut it. Now we position the front side of the orange ear facing us. We take the hook and insert it into the center stitch here. We take our threads, fold them in half, find the middle, and hook it with the crochet, pulling it through the stitch. After this, we tie it in a knot. We pull all the threads and trim the ends. Now we crochet the brown part of the ear. It is crocheted the same way as the orange part, but instead of 3 rows, we crochet only 2 rows. I have completed the brown part, and I have hidden all the orange ends. I threaded the brown yarn into the needle, and now I will show how I sew it on. I fold the wrong side to the wrong side, with the right side on top here and the right side on top. And quite simply, I insert the needle, catching the lower part of the outermost row, the orange, pull the yarn, and then look for the brown stitch opposite. Then in the next brown stitch, I insert the needle here and look for the orange double crochet opposite. That is, I go through the entire stitch, not just the edge, as I think it looks nicer when you grab the entire stitch. This is how I sew it. Here, I insert the needle right under. Several columns so we continue. The ear is ready. We do the same for the second ear. Here's how it eat. Turned out for me well, friends, don't be scared. All these little pieces now need to be sewn and gathered into one hat. This is the most interesting yet my least favorite activity, but we will manage. Look. I have processed all these parts, all our little pieces. I have hidden some unnecessary tails. I left only the longest thread with which I will sew each of the pieces. With a needle, but not with a blunt end, rather a sharp one, it's easier to hide. I will start sewing the face and the nose. What do we need for this? We need to place the hat in such a way that there is an equal distance here. That is, find the center, specifically, so we can center our face. So, I have about 3 columns here. On this side too, 3.5 like this. We lay out the hat. Next, we will temporarily set aside the nose. Now we take one of these parts. By the way, I fill these parts, these pieces with cotton just a little bit. To keep its shape. Like this, and I begin to sew. We will sew, setting aside 1 row of orange color from the bottom and 5 rows from the top. Along the edge we sew here. Also, the second half is filled with cotton too, we sew it close by. Look, I counted columns from these points and I ended up with this center. I orient myself by this column, like this. So my piece is positioned roughly, 1. Like this, even extending to 6 just a bit, and this way, I start to sew. I won't show you how I sew all the pieces. I will show you only this detail because if I start showing everything, it will take a lot of time. I am orienting myself by this column, so here is my middle point. I attach a thread and start picking up from this braid the lower part, the lower half pickle. Now, we place the synthetic filling there and pick up a little pickle. Immediately, we insert the needle into the lower half pickle of our piece, the lower half pickle, and we pick up the orange thread where we are located. Immediately opposite, and we pick up. We make sure that everything looks visually nice. We picked up the orange, now from the bottom to the top. We pick up the lower half pickle of the white piece, then again from top to bottom into the lower half pickle of the white piece, and look for where to poke the orange fabric. This way, friends, we will sew everything, our pieces. I have already sewn both parts, attached the teeth and nose, and brought the brown thread here. Up, and now we will make a few movements like this to fill this. Space a bit where we have the orange thread, just a couple of times to have a brown stripe here. But this is how it turns out. I want to say that we sew the nose a little higher than these, the white pieces. About 1 row higher, and to the brown trim, here are the teeth. We orient ourselves about like this, to make it turn out like that. Now we need to sew on the eyes. Well, I have sewn the beige part of the eye. I have on one side here to the edge of the hat, and on the other side about 8 or 8 stitches. This is for you to orient yourself in case your hat is the same size as mine. Between these pieces there is about 1 or 2 stitches, and you need to sew this evenly. I have sewn this whole piece, but I did not sew here at the bottom. I will explain later why. Look, next we need to sew these eyes on top. I will sew the white one like this, placing it so that there is 1 row here. And then, just as it will work out, we will attach it like this. And then, when we attach the white part, we will sew downwards. That is, we will start with the beige thread here, and then the white. This way, we will sew all of this together from the bottom. And on top, we will need to attach our blue eye like this. The same goes for the other eye. I won't be showing all of this anymore. Just so you know, I mentioned approximately how much to leave as a margin. Here is 1 row, and then in this way, after that. Once we sew the eyes, we will embroider the eyelashes. I attach all the pieces, catching the lower part of this last braid. Only, probably, where the teeth are, I pierce through all the fabric. Not just the lower part, I have already done everything. Now I just want to show you where and how I stitched and what I embroidered. Here, I made the eyelashes with double black thread. I secured the thread here, yes, brought it to the front, and just stitched through. That is, at approximately the same distance like this. We made 1 eye, for example, and we do the second one symmetrically. I also sewed here from the bottom. Here is beige, and here with white thread, and again beige. That's how it turned out. I glued the half beads, and on top, I stitched the ears and the bow. We also take the orange thread and catch it here near the tassels, so they are sharp. I stitched the ears on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th rows from the top, approximately, and we sew in such a way that they stick out. That is, we also stitch from the back. So we pull it, and from the front, so that they stick out. And it turns out centered as well. On the 2nd row from the top, I stitched the center of our bow. Then I caught it a little with brown thread here, to the ears in these spots, and to the cap from below, here and here. So our bow doesn't slide anywhere. So it also holds its shape. That's how it turned out. Now I just need to sew on the lining. That's all, my friends. Our little squirrel is ready. I believe you all succeeded. Thank you for watching. Stay with me on my channel, subscribe, and like. See you very soon in my next masterclass.